Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars, the Black Series, Ahsoka Tano in her Padawan attire. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have a hook and some tape, no window, because of course this is plastic-free packaging. I thought I was done with this stuff, but apparently there may be a few still coming in that I've had on pre-order. So Star Wars The Black Series, a nice digital render of the character. Star Wars The Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano Padawan, assortment number, warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4 and up, Hasbro print. Plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, Star Wars The Black Series, another digital render of the figure showing that she is 5.6 inches or 14.2 centimeters tall, and she comes with 2 green lightsabers. And in case you forgot from the front, plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue. And another symbol I'm not going to learn. On this side, we've got some nice artwork there of Ahsoka during the Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano Padawan. So very nice looking. Then here we have on the back a digital render of the figure, which is the same one from the front. Star Wars The Black Series, Ahsoka Tano Padawan. Ahsoka Tano, a young Togruta, was the Padawan learner to Anakin Skywalker and a hero of the Clone Wars. There it is again in some other languages I don't speak. She's number 13 in the Clone Wars line. Attention, don't stick things in your French pie hole if they don't belong there. Warning, attention, Octung, don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. And then here we have includes figure and 2 accessories. And down here, small fine, legalese, made in China print, Disney print, and Hasbro print. That, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and her accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers so that we can take a look at the smaller bits and bobs. And first up here is her short lightsaber handle, which goes with the short lightsaber blade. And it does have a few paint apps on it right here. This stripe, this button, and the silver paint app that covers the rest of it. And other than that, it has nice molded details, and I think this set of saber hilts is the same as the Mandalore from, or not the Mandalore, but Ahsoka in the Mandalorian armor from the final season of Clone Wars. Here's the other hilt, and again it's got the stripe and the button. Nice molded details, a nice silver paint app, and then the post here. And then stripe on this side as well. So, next up we have her lightsaber blades. And we'll get to how they work in a minute, how they attach in to the hilts. But as you notice, just like the Mandalorian version, or the Clone Wars final season, Siege of Mandalore, Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka, you can see there's some angles on the blades where they fit into the grooves of her lightsaber. A nice green translucent color. And you know, the pegs are okay on this. You know, they've done some better ones. And again, this one has those, you know, almost pointed shapes to where they fit in the lightsabers. And I'll just go ahead and show that real quick, hopefully. And then port in the hilt there. And as you can see, you kind of line up where those pieces point down, and they go into these grooves right here. And then there is the completed lightsaber. Now let's take a look at the figure herself. Raise the camera up just a little bit so we can take a look at all the cool deco here on the head and face. Nice stripes along the Liku, her Padawan braid, and these chains here. I'm not sure what the purpose of these are other than to be decorative. And then of course they lead to this piece right here, and it's got nice gold paint apps on there, and for these triangular pieces as well all along the headband, or what is, I guess it is the headband perhaps, and it's on a small ring just there around her head. And then on the face itself, I mean, look at all that nice deco going on, and the eyes, a little bit of color to the lips, it looks like. Maybe around the eyes just a tad as well. Then around the neck, there's some gold accent there. And it does not seem like that paint app goes all the way around. So then it looks like most of it is molded in this color. That appears to be paint. And then probably this is the paint on the arms, and this is the paint on the lower part of the arm, the bare skin. And then of course on the hand, probably the fingers are the paint apps. So it looks like here on the piece that hangs down from her belt, we've got a nice tampo. And then these pieces are made out of flexible plastic along with the belt itself. Nice paint app there for the belt buckle and these two. I'm not sure exactly what they are. And then nice details here on the back, her shoulders, the pouch here. And then down the sides of her legs, these pieces where her skin is exposed, I guess. So those look to be paint apps. And then on the buckles here, on the holding the shin armor on, I guess that's what it is, or maybe that's just how the boots, they wrap around and then connect. But anyway, so nice paint apps there for the buckles, and that's on both sides and down the legs as well. I think that pretty much covers the paint apps. Let's talk about her articulation. Because of this big Liku piece on the back of her head, she doesn't really look up. Because of the front ones, she can only look down that far, so not a lot of head movement there. No chicken neck really to speak of. Very little waggle. It's got a little bit, but not much. And then if you force it, you can get the full extras. I'm sorry about it. I had to fight with it there for a minute. And when you do that, it looks like the neck is a separate piece as well, and it will rotate out of the proper place. So that's just something to be aware of, not a positive or a negative. Either way, just something to be aware of. not too difficult to move it back into position. Now at the shoulders, they can pull down just a little bit. The arm pulls or goes up just a little bit, and it does have some butterfly. So very much similar to the way that a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure's shoulder works. So forward that far, back that far. Now at that shoulder joint, you have to pull the arm down and then maneuver the hinge there in the shoulder up to get it up. And it's not quite a 90-degree angle there, and you kind of have to maneuver it back up as you close the hinge back down. 360 degrees of rotation there at the shoulder as well. Nothing in the upper bicep. At the elbow, hinge, single hinge and swivel. Swivels around 360 degrees, and it does give you slightly better than a 90-degree bend at the elbow. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an up and down hinge, and the other side is up and down hinge as well. Now, different than most Black Series figures, there is no cut where the chest and the abdomen meet, but rather a cut at the waist. You don't see that very often in this line, at least anymore. It used to be pretty common, and then they quit. But anyway, so it's on a ball joint. It gives her plenty of hula. She can lean left and right. She leans back that far and forward that far, as well as a 360-degree rotation. Now at the hips, unfortunately, they haven't worked pull-down hinges into Black Series yet. But even without a pull-down hinge, she pretty much gives you the full splits there. She can kick forward that far, and I feel like the hip hinge itself will go a little bit further than that, unless it will. So this overlay does hinder that range of movement just a bit. And look at that. That's how the hip works, my friends. It's on a ball there, and I popped it off. So her leg goes back maybe a full step. Okay, now because that's on a ball, we get a little bit of turn in and out, but there is no cut here at the upper thigh, at least that I saw. Yes, no cut there. And then single hinge and swivel at the knee. Swivels around 360 degrees and gives you more than 90 degrees worth of bend. So that's actually a pretty good knee bend, in my opinion. And then, of course, nothing in the shin. At the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up slightly, and forward-facing pin for rocker. Now, like the previous Black Series Ahsokas, her lightsabers do store, the hilts do store. And that's what these two ports are for. These posts on the lightsabers. And it's much harder to do this on camera, my friends, than in person. But once you get lined up, you may have to give it a little bit of push and a twist just to get it to stay properly. And there you have it, my friends. There's a look at the figure and her accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series Ahsoka Tano Padawan from the Clone Wars, with Star Wars The Black Series Ahsoka Tano from Mandalore from the Clone Wars, Star Wars The Black Series Ahsoka Tano from Rebels, and this is the first release, not the repainted re-release, and Star Wars The Black Series The Mandalorian Ahsoka Tano. For our final set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano, Padawan, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. Our final Black Series comparison, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series, The Clone Wars, Ahsoka Tano, Padawan, I have to say, I think this is a really good representation of that version of the character. I think the majority of the paint apps on this are, of course, on the head and the face, and that is appropriate, I think. And then, they added where they needed to get the look of this figure. And I think they really knocked it out of the park with this one. And you won't often hear me say that about Star Wars Black Series figures. They'll get close, but usually there's just something I really don't like about the figure, or just something that's off and just doesn't, hit me in the feels like I thought it should. But this one, I think it checks off all the boxes for this version of Ahsoka. I think they got the skin tone right. I think they got the combination of animated to realistic correct in this part. It's not like this Ahsoka looks like the one that was in the Ahsoka series flashbacks. Of course, this figure was done before that came out, so it doesn't look like that actress, but rather a more realistic take of the animated version of the character. And I think they really knocked it out of the park with this version. If you are a Clone Wars fan, you are a Ahsoka fan, then I do say that this one is a pickup. It's just, I think it got everything correct. Now, would I have liked to have seen maybe some double hinged, pinless elbows and knees? Would that have taken this figure a step further? It really would have, but we are dealing with Star Wars Black Series, so that's really not a thing that happens very often. And when we do get double hinged knees, they're usually pinned, and it's because it's reuse of an older figure from before they went to the single hinge and swivel that they're using now. I am glad that she didn't just have the upper torso cut. I mean, yeah, they didn't put it on here and all, and that's fine, because I think it really would have messed up the aesthetics of this character, especially like as you get around to her back and how her, back is shown in her uniform or her clothes, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. And so I thought, I'm glad they didn't put that in there, but it would have been nice to have the extra articulation. But it's nice to see waist articulation in a Black Series figure, at least for me. I think those usually work a little bit better rather than just having the upper torso cut. I would rather have a waist cut. But in actuality, I would love to have both of those cuts in every figure, so that you get the maximum range of motion there and posability. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.